What makes us human? Our reason, or the appetites that pull us back into the mud? Machiavelli, often remembered as the cold strategist of The Prince, once turned to poetry to answer that question. In his version of The Golden Ass, he did not write of redemption as Apuleius did, but of exposure. He stripped away the mask of civilization and showed how men and women in their actions reveal the beasts they carry within. He painted a satirical menagerie, monkeys as flatterers, swine as gluttons, wolves as the greedy, lions as the violent, foxes as the cunning who endure. Through these images, he made a dark confession that society is less a republic of reason than a jungle of appetites, where most willingly exchange truth for illusion. This is not just Florence in the 16th century. It is our world today. Addiction, consumerism, and the endless scroll of social media echo the same pattern. Human beings descending into beasts when reason falters. Yet Machiavelli's satire carries a hidden gift. If we can recognize when we are slipping into these lower forms, we can resist them. We can reclaim the clarity of mind that society ridicules, but which alone grants freedom. In this video, you'll see how Machiavelli's cynical humor offers something more than mockery. It is a mirror showing us not just how easily humans become asses, but how rare and valuable it is to remain truly human. The mind is a labyrinth. Let's walk its shadows together. Imagine wandering into a forest at twilight, where every rustle in the leaves seems to carry meaning, where every shadow hints at a presence not entirely human. This is where Machiavelli places us in The Golden Ass. It is not a sacred grove, nor a place of divine revelation. It is a stage of satire, where animals stand as masks for the human soul laid bare. The shepherd who guides the narrator through this strange wood explains what he sees. Men and women shedding their fragile human forms and revealing the beasts within. The transformations are not magical. They are moral. Each creature is a portrait of a human flaw, an allegory for vice. Monkeys, with their endless mimicry, become flatterers who grin and bow without conviction, rehearsing gestures that cost them nothing but win them favor. Swine root in filth, not out of necessity, but out of appetite, showing us the glutton who cannot imagine restraint. Wolves stalk the field with greedy eyes, taking not because they hunger, but because taking is their nature. Lions roar with violence, embodying the ruler who knows no law but force. And foxes, sly and sharp, slink through the undergrowth, survivors who thrive not by strength, but by cunning deception. Which of these modern beasts have you seen in today's world? What glimpses of them have you noticed in yourself or in others? Share your story in the comments. What Machiavelli sketches here is not mere fable. It is his philosophy of human nature written in animal form. Just as in The Prince he wrote that rulers must learn to be both fox and lion, here he extends the metaphor to society as a whole. The bestiary becomes a mirror, a satirical encyclopedia of our instincts, stripped of pretense. And in that mirror, the reflection is ugly. Notice what is absent. There is no vision of redemption, no heroic figure who resists transformation. In Apuleius, the ass eventually regains his humanity through devotion to the goddess Isis. But Machiavelli leaves his figures trapped, monkeys forever flattering, swine forever wallowing. This is the heart of the satire. People are so wedded to their vices that they mistake them for virtues. The flatterer calls himself charming. The glutton calls himself a man of appetite. The greedy wolf justifies his taking as prudence. The lion names his cruelty strength. And the fox celebrates deceit as intelligence. If this feels cynical, it is because Machiavelli refuses to flatter us. His satire denies us the comfort of believing that beasts can turn back into men. Instead, he asks, What if the beast was always there, waiting, thinly veiled by reason? What if society is not a ladder of progress, but a menagerie in which every role has already been cast? The brilliance of this allegory lies in its timelessness. In 16th century Florence, these beasts roamed among priests, nobles, and merchants. In our own age, they wander just as freely. The flatterer still thrives on likes and shares. The swine gorge not on food alone, but on endless consumption. The wolves wear corporate suits. The lions command armies and headlines. And the foxes? They whisper behind glowing screens, bending truth into tools of survival. Machiavelli's Bestiary is not a distant satire of his city. It is a perpetual map of human weakness. To walk through its forest is to confront the uncomfortable truth that the line between man and beast is paper thin. And unless we learn to recognize these creatures within ourselves, we may wake one day to find the transformation complete. If you're liking this video, please like and subscribe now. It helps the channel to grow. Thanks for your support. To Machiavelli, the most terrifying transformation is not into wolf or lion, but into something far more pitiful, the one who willingly abandons reason. When appetite becomes master, man ceases to be man. He is still upright, still speaking, still dressed in the garments of society, but in truth he has crossed the invisible threshold into bestiality. This is the fall from reason. Not a sudden collapse, but a gradual surrender. It begins with desire disguised as harmless indulgence. A man drinks to relax. A woman scrolls to unwind. A crowd consumes to belong. None of this looks dangerous at first glance. Yet each small yielding strengthens appetite's grip. Soon the indulgence becomes necessity, and necessity becomes slavery. The shepherd in Machiavelli's satire would say, "The mask of man has slipped, and the beast beneath has claimed its place." We live in an age that makes this descent effortless. Addiction is no longer confined to the tavern or the gambling table. It waits in our pockets, glowing with infinite distractions. The endless scroll, the engineered dopamine hit, the siren call of consumer culture. Each promises comfort, but each extracts the same price: the weakening of judgment, the silencing of reason. The more we yield, the more we resemble the swine, rooting for satisfaction with no thought of consequence. What addiction do you think is the most dangerous today, and why? Share your thoughts in the comments. What Machiavelli saw in Florence, we see amplified in our own world. The collapse of discipline under the weight of appetite. He mocked it with beasts, but his laughter was bitter. The fall from reason is not just personal, it is collective. When whole societies worship appetite, truth becomes irrelevant, leadership becomes theater, and the public square turns into a carnival of beasts. And yet, buried within the cynicism is a warning that can still serve as a guide. If you can recognize the signs of this descent, the restless craving, the compulsive return to the very thing that weakens you, then you have a chance to resist it. To see clearly is already to interrupt the transformation. Machiavelli offers no promise of redemption, but he does offer clarity. The knowledge that the boundary between reason and appetite is fragile, and vigilance is the only guard against becoming the ass. If the fall from reason reveals the beast, the comfort of illusion explains why so few ever rise again. For Machiavelli, the danger was not simply that men deceive one another, it was that they long to be deceived. Illusion is not forced upon us, it is embraced, like a warm cloak against the cold wind of truth. Do you think that most people prefer illusion over reality? Share your thoughts in the comments. In The Golden Ass, the beasts never awaken because they do not want to awaken. The flatterer delights in his own performance. The glutton revels in his feast. The greedy wolf convinces himself that taking is prudent, and the lion baptizes his violence as virtue. The mask is not torn away. It is worn willingly, because the lie is sweeter than the clarity that would strip it bare. This pattern has not changed. In fact, our age has perfected it. We do not merely tolerate illusion. We manufacture it at industrial scale. Social media curates identities that glisten brighter than the people beneath them. Consumer culture builds fantasies of happiness that collapse the moment the package is opened. Political theater sells hope and outrage with equal fervor, leaving truth irrelevant so long as the performance dazzles. Why is illusion so seductive? Because truth is heavy, and few have the strength to carry it. To see clearly means to confront your own complicity, your own weakness, your own beast within. Illusion spares you that confrontation. It whispers, "You are already enough. You are already wise. Keep scrolling, keep consuming, keep believing the cost of this comfort is steep, but it is invisible. The slow erosion of dignity, the surrender of freedom, the exchange of sovereignty for spectacle." Machiavelli knew this well. His satire was not merely mockery of others, but a warning to himself and his readers. Beware the temptation to seek comfort in pleasing lies. For every age has its illusions, and every age rewards those who sell them. But the rarest of men and women are those who refuse the trade, who would rather walk in the cold clarity of truth than bask in the firelight of deceit. To live without illusion is perilous, even lonely. Yet it is also the only ground from which real strength can grow. For the beasts may inherit the crowd, but only those who resist illusion inherit their own minds. If illusion is the opiate of the many, honesty is the burden of the few. Machiavelli knew this well. To speak plainly in a world addicted to masks is to invite danger. The flatterer wins applause, the deceiver wins power, but the truth-teller? He is mocked, exiled, or silenced. And yet, for those who dare it, honesty is a form of freedom, rare, dangerous, and invaluable. In The Golden Ass, the satire is biting not only because it ridicules others, but because it spares no one. The shepherd's descriptions of men as beasts are honest to the point of cruelty. He does not soothe, he does not comfort. He names the hypocrisy of priests, the gluttony of nobles, the greed of merchants, the violence of rulers. This is not cruelty for its own sake. It is the ruthless act of clarity. To strip away illusion is to reveal the raw nerve of human nature. But honesty has a cost. History shows us that societies rarely reward it. Socrates was given hemlock. Galileo was silenced. Dissidents are jailed. Whistleblowers are branded traitors. Even in everyday life, the one who speaks truth in a room of illusions is called arrogant, bitter, or mad. Honesty exposes and exposure threatens the fragile structures of comfort that most depend upon. And yet, precisely because it is so rare, honesty becomes a kind of hidden power. Those who see clearly and who refuse to trade their vision for applause gain something that cannot be bought: sovereignty of the mind. Their words may be unwelcome, but they endure. For while illusions crumble with fashion, truth remains, sharp and unyielding. In our own age, the gift of honesty is more perilous than ever. The digital crowd rewards conformity, punishes deviation, and buries dissent beneath an avalanche of noise. But every so often, a voice cuts through, unpopular, unsettling, unforgettable. These voices remind us that clarity, though costly, is the only antidote to illusion. Machiavelli's hidden wisdom is this: honesty will not make you loved, but it will make you free. And in a world of beasts chasing comfort, that freedom is the rarest treasure of all. Machiavelli's satire does not end with salvation. The golden ass offers no goddess to restore humanity, no promise of redemption waiting at the end of suffering. The beasts remain beasts, and yet, hidden between the cynicism and the laughter, is a quiet challenge. If you know the trap, you may refuse it. If you see the beast, you may resist it. To resist the ass within is to recognize when you are slipping into the roles Machiavelli described. It is to feel the monkey's grin forming on your face as you flatter for approval, and to stop. It is to catch yourself rooting like the swine in endless appetite, and to pull back. It is to hear the wolf's hunger in your greed, or the lion's roar in your temper, and to choose restraint instead of surrender. Awareness is the first act of rebellion, but awareness alone is not enough. The pull of appetite, illusion, and instinct is relentless. That is why Machiavelli insists on something more: strategy. To resist the ass within, you must learn not only to recognize your weaknesses, but to govern them as you would govern a city. Discipline is not denial. It is rule. It is the fox's cunning married to the lion's strength, the ability to anticipate temptation and meet it with resolve. In our time, this resistance is harder than ever, because the forces that profit from our descent know us well. They know how to bait our envy, how to feed our cravings, how to keep us scrolling, buying, consuming. To live with reason intact today is a political act, a defiance of an economy built on our weakness. And yet, this is precisely why resisting the ass within matters. For if you can maintain clarity when others collapse into appetite, you gain not only freedom, but advantage. You see the illusions for what they are. You choose when others are compelled. You act while others react. You walk upright when others sink into the mud. Machiavelli's hidden wisdom is that survival does not belong to those who indulge their beast, but to those who master it. To resist the ass within is not to deny that the beast exists. It is to acknowledge its presence, and then to rule it with the sovereignty of reason. That is the true strength, not the roar of the lion or the slyness of the fox, but the rare dignity of remaining fully human in a world that rewards beasts. Machiavelli's golden ass is not a tale of redemption, but a mirror of warning. He shows us a world where men flatter like monkeys, gorge like swine, hunt like wolves, roar like lions, and scheme like foxes. In his satire, there is no return to innocence, no goddess to grant release, only the raw exposure of what we are when reason falters. And yet, that exposure is itself a gift. To see our appetites for what they are is to reclaim the choice of how we live. We may not erase the beasts within us, but we can recognize them, resist them, and refuse to let them rule. The fall from reason is always near, but so too is the chance to rise above it. This is Machiavelli's hidden wisdom, that true strength is not found in denying our lower nature, nor in indulging it, but in mastering it. In a world of illusions and appetites, to think clearly is already to walk against the current. To remain fully human when society rewards the beast is the rarest victory of all. Thank you for walking this path with me tonight. Until next time, may you have the courage to see through illusions, the strength to master the appetites that would reduce you to less than you are, and the clarity to remain fully human in a world that rewards beasts. For though the mask of the ass is always near, the choice to wear it is never final, and reason, once claimed, can never be taken from you.